Minato was an ugly incel who failed to get into college for 2 consecutive years because he was busy watching anime instead of studying. Just like you all, however, his life suddenly changes when he encounters a girl with superpowers and forms a contract with her, becoming her master. Soon, he creates a harem of the hottest girls in the town and leads them into a game to become the next god. It all started on the day he found that he had failed the college entrance exam this year too. He was heading back to his apartment after seeing the result, wondering what to do with his pathetic life now. As he is thinking that he will never get a girl because he is a loser, God decides to have mercy on him and airdrops a girl with thick plot right on top of him. The girl crashes into him, and Minato sees a glimpse of heaven as she tries to get up. She thanks him for catching her, and before Minato can say anything, she leaps at him to protect him from a magic attack. Suddenly, 2 goth bitches come there and tell the girl that she can't run away from them forever. They unleash their lightning powers, and Minato almost pisses his pants, wondering how this is possible. Luckily, the girl with him is super strong, and she just grabs his hand and runs like the wind. As soon as she reaches a safe place, she finds that she absent-mindedly carried Minato all the way with her. She apologizes for holding his hand for no reason, and Minato doesn't mind because it was the first time he had ever held a girl's hand. The girl then introduces herself as Musubi and thanks Minato for cushioning her fall earlier. Minato introduces himself too, and then suddenly, Musubi collapses because of hunger. He brings her to his house and gives her the week-old Big Macs that were starting to rot in his fridge. Musubi is really grateful to him, and then she tells him that she has no place to go. She asks Minato to let her stay the night, and this simp immediately agrees. Musubi suddenly grabs his hand, saying that she wishes someone as kind as him should be her master. Minato has no idea what she is talking about, and Musubi gently lets him cop a feel as she says that she is born to serve a master but has not found him yet, and she wants him to be it. That is too much stimulation for this incel to handle, and he passes out. The next morning, as Minato wakes up, he finds Musubi lying next to him. He freaks out and starts backing away as the girl wakes up, fearing that she will think he is a predator. However, this stupid thought has no shame or self-preservation instinct and starts taking off her shirt because she borrowed it from Minato last night. Fountains of blood erupt from Minato's face because this is the first time he has seen a pair of melons that belong to someone else than his 2D wafus, and he rushes outside to calm himself. Suddenly, his ugly-ass landlord pops there and asks Minato if there is someone else inside his apartment. Minato says that it is just a friend, and the ugly bastard tells him that this place is exclusively for single losers, and if he brings a girlfriend here, he is going to be kicked out. As soon as the landlord leaves, Musubi comes out. She apologizes for not having any modesty, but Minato tells her not to mind it since he liked it, as he is trying to find ways to beg her for one more eyeful. Musubi tells him that she is hungry. He takes her to a restaurant, but this girl's entire nutrition goes to her jugs, and she eats food equal to 10 people, leaving Minato broke. He tells her to go buy some groceries while he draws some money from the bank, but on the way, he runs into the 2 girls who were chasing after Musubi yesterday. They immediately recognize Minato, and just then, Musubi also comes running there to ask what she should buy for dinner. She gets hit by the thunder attack of the 2 girls, who say that she is a fool to not have awakened her power even though she is with a guy. Musubi gets up to fight them, but Minato interferes and tries to save her from their attacks. He stands up to the 2 bitches to save Musubi, who has started to feel strange since she doesn't run away. Minato picks her up and runs away from the attackers. They seek shelter in a close alley, and Minato asks Musubi what is wrong. She suddenly gets close to him, telling him that she is wetter than the Pacific Ocean and only he can help her right now. Just then, the 2 girls surround them, but Musubi doesn't pay them any attention and keeps moving towards Minato. The girls run towards them to stop her, but Musubi kisses Minato, and suddenly, her body emits a bright light as her powers manifest. The twins think they made a mistake by letting her kiss a man. One of them pulls away Minato and decides to kill him to reduce Musubi's power, but she tells her not to lay a single finger on her master. She charges ahead, and the girl tosses Minato aside before shooting lightning at her, but Musubi dodges it and then leaps at her from the top. The girl somehow blocks her attack with her barrier and then quickly leaves with her twin, telling Musubi that they don't have any point fighting with someone who has awakened their power. Once they are gone, Musubi goes to help Minato up, and after he covers her with his coat like a gentleman, he asks who the hell is she. In response, she tells him that she is a Seikaiari, an alien with superpowers that activate only when they kiss a human whom they accept as their master. Later, Minato contacts his sister to send him some of her used clothes, and she thinks that he is going to do something perverted with them. but she is into that, so she agrees. Meanwhile, Musubi is cooking dinner, and Minato is still not sure about what exactly she is. Suddenly, the TV turns on by itself, and a funky hairstyle dude starts talking to Minato. Musubi claims that she knows him, and upon some thought, Minato also remembers him as the president of MBI, the biggest company in Japan. The president tells Minato that since he has become the partner of Musubi, they have been automatically enrolled in the super secret game called the Seikairi Plan. Minato is confused, so the president explains to him like he is 5 years old and says that Seikairi are superpowered girls who fight each other in secret to win the game. There will be a total of 108 Seikairi in the games, with Musubi being number 88. Minato has many more questions, but the funky dude just tells him to keep everything about the game a secret, or he is going to be punished. Before clocking out, Minato is scared now, and just then, someone knocks at his door. It turns out to be a scary-looking guy from the MBI company, who just hands him a box containing Musubi's clothes and leaves. Immediately after that, Minato's ugly landlord comes there, and on seeing him with a girl, he immediately kicks them out of the apartment. The next day, Minato tries looking for a new place to live in, but he is broke, so no agent can find a house for him. He sits in the park at night, defeated and demotivated, when suddenly it starts to rain. Minato asks Musubi why she chose a loser like him to be his partner, and she replies that she chose him because he is perfect for her. Musubi kisses Minato again, and magic wings sprout out of her back. She promises Minato that she will make his every wish come true, and one day, they will live among the stars. With that, she grabs his hand and creates a typhoon, carrying them above the clouds into the serene moonlight. Minato keeps staring at Musubi romantically, until this dimwit tells him that she only knew how to bring them to the sky and not how to take them back to Earth. Minato freaks out as gravity suddenly starts pulling him into his embrace, but then suddenly, a green spirit comes flying towards them and saves them from crashing to death. They land in the courtyard of a MILF named Mia and a silver-haired guy called Kogari who lives with her. Mia notices that Minato is injured and asks Kogari to treat his leg. While she gets Musubi a change of clothes, Kogari asks Minato how did they fall into their courtyard, and he almost reveals that Musubi flew them to the sky, but then remembers the president's warning to keep everything a secret. He says that the wind was strong today, and Kogari decides to accept his pitiful excuse. Just then, Musubi comes there dressed in a kimono, and Minato thanks Mia for helping them out. She tells him that she is just a busybody who likes interfering with other people, because that is what her late husband always did. After everyone properly introduces each other, Musubi smells something delicious, and Mia invites her and Minato to join them. As they are having dinner, a girl barges in wearing nothing but her undies, and Minato spits out his dinner. While Kogari lectures the girl to stop being such a hoe, Minato goes to Mia and asks if these people are her family. She tells him that she actually runs a rental service in her house, and these two people are her tenants. The girl in the skimpy outfit says that since this place is old and battered, the rent is low, so it is perfect for cheapskates like them. And Minato immediately bows down to Mia, asking her to let them become her new tenants. She gladly accepts, and while Minato and Musubi rejoice over the fact that they have a place to stay now, Kogari asks Mia if she is sure about letting them stay. Apparently, they know about Musubi being a Seikairi, but she still thinks that there is no harm in letting them stay here. The next day, as Minato is packing things from his old apartment, he gets a surprise visit from his sister Yukari, who is here with the used clothes as he requested. Minato is flustered to see her here and says that she should just have parceled them here instead of coming herself. But Yukari tells him that she is here because she got accepted into a college. These words deal heavy emotional damage to the failure who couldn't get into college after 2 attempts. And just then, Musubi comes out with some stuff. Minato tries to explain things to Yukari, but she has already pictured a scenario in her mind. Anyway, she introduces herself to Musubi, helps in cleaning the house, and then leaves to stay at her friend's house. With that, they head to their new apartment, with Musubi carrying the huge-ass bundle like it is nothing. She explains that as a power-type Seikairi, this is nothing for her. Soon, they reach their new apartment, and Mia is amazed at Musubi's strength. She proudly tells her that she is a power-type Seikairi, and while Minato panics because she revealed their secret, Mia just laughs and goes downstairs. Minato tells Musubi that she just revealed their secret to Mia, but she tells him that it is alright. She promises that no matter what the president tries to do to him, she will protect him, and Minato folds. After that, they head downstairs for breakfast, and find Kogari leaving for work. He kisses Mia's hand before going, and she tells the shocked Minato that Kagari works as a host, which is probably code for male stripper, and that is why he likes to keep things flirty. Miya diverts the topic by showing her new tenants the shared bathhouse. Musubi remarks that it is quite spacious and 2 people can easily get in at once, but the incel Minato doesn't have enough courage to accept her offer, so he runs. Outside, he thinks about how they survived after falling from a great height and thinks that the tree must have something to do with it. Just as he touches the tree, he sees a lowly spirit asking him to help her. He falls back in shock, but then recalls seeing the spirit when they were falling too. Suddenly, he hears some clashes coming from the bathhouse, and moments later, the girl named Yuzume jumps out of the window, wearing nothing but a towel. It turns out she is a Sekiri too. And when Musubi found it out, she wanted to fight her. Yuzume somehow dodged her attacks and escaped to find Minato in the courtyard. She clings to him and asks him to stop his girl because she doesn't like fighting. Musubi spots them together and gets jealous. She rushes at Yuzume, but Miya comes in clutch and blocks her attack with a frying pan before bonking her with a ladle. She tells the girls that no fighting is allowed in her house for any reason, and they are terrified of her demonic aura. At night, Minato sees a dream in which the lowly tree spirit from before is lost in a forest. She is crying because she can't get down from a tree, but he promises to catch her. The girl believes in him and jumps right on top of him. Minato then asks about her, and she introduces herself as Ku and says that it is her fault for coming outside that she is lost. Minato doesn't understand jack shit about her situation, and then she suddenly gets pulled away deep into the forest, asking him to help her. Minato wakes up calling her name and finds Musubi on top of him. She asks him if everything is fine, and he tells her that he just had a bad dream. Meanwhile, many other master candidates receive a message from the MBI president, telling them about the Sekiri that has not emerged yet, and telling them to hurry up and claim them. It turns out the Sekiri they are looking for is none other than Ku. A few days ago, she lived with a guy who was like her mentor and big brother, who told her about how she would find her master one day. Then suddenly, an ambitious man attacked them with his Sekiri, injuring Ku's mentor. The bastard tried kissing Ku to awaken her power and turn her into his servant, but she pushed him back and then used her power to create a forest that would keep her safe. On the other hand, Minato wakes up the next morning, still thinking about Ku. When he finds Musubi wearing his sister's tight gym uniform, they hear some swooshing sounds coming from outside and find that it is Miya practicing her sword skills. Musubi is truly smitten by her, and she immediately jumps outside to challenge her to a spar. Miya graciously accepts her challenge, and Musubi charges at her. Minato rushes downstairs to stop them, but Yuzume tells him not to worry because Miya is used to it. The MILF easily dodges Musubi's attacks while pointing out the mistakes she is making. Yuzume is also impressed by Musubi's strength and says that they may have to fight each other as fellow Sekiri one day. Minato is still processing this information when suddenly he remembers that he is starting a part-time job today, and he is already late. Soon after that, he goes to a construction site and begins working hard. During lunch break, he begins eating the lunchbox that Miya has made for him, but there is a beggar next to him drooling while seeing his food. Minato offers him one rice ball and starts making small talk with him, when suddenly, the lightning twins come there, and one of them kicks away the man for swiping food from others. She goes to apologize to Minato, but as they see each other clearly, Minato panics and drops his food. The other girl offers him some bread as his lunch, so that he stops making the atmosphere more gloomy and tells him that their master doesn't have any bad intentions. The dumbass doesn't understand what is happening till the guy named Seo grabs the 2 chicks and introduces himself as their master. Minato is shocked to see another master like himself, and Seo asks him if he is also here for the green girl. Minato doesn't understand anything, and just then, 2 helicopters from MBI start circling the area. The chief tells Minato and Seo to go home early because MBI is going to burn down a nearby patch of trees, and they have ordered everyone nearby to evacuate. As the place gets shut down, Seo asks Minato if he wants to come along and see the green girl. On the other hand, Musubi is worried because it has been late and Minato has not yet returned. And on top of that, he has forgotten his cell phone too, so she decides to go and deliver it to him. Meanwhile, the Thunder Twins blast away the security force cars and open the way for their master to enter the forest, and Minato finally realizes that he got caught up in some bad company. They enter the forest, but no one has any idea about where to go next. Suddenly, Minato sees Ku's spirit appear before him and point the way. Minato runs after her, only to crash into Seo, who couldn't see Ku, but he knows she is the one who reached out to Minato. Minato says that he must find and rescue the girl because she was crying, and Seo decides to change his objective. Instead of capturing the green girl, he decides to support Minato. Outside the facility, a masked man named Hamura has arrived, and he wonders who is the reckless fool who made such a mess to get inside. Just then, another Seikari arrives there, and Hamura recognizes her as Yomi, one of the most problematic Seikari serving the psychopath who attacked Ku earlier. Yomi is here to get the green girl for her master's harem, but Hamura doesn't want that to happen. He gets ready to fight. But then suddenly, another Seikari freezes him in place, and Yomi heads ahead. Hamura gets ready to face the ice user, but on seeing the strange Seikari mark on her forehead, he realizes that she has been discarded by her previous master. Just then, Musubi passes through and confuses Hamura for Kagari because they have the same hair color. She soon realizes her mistake and rushes ahead, leaving Hamura to face the ice girl. Inside, Seo tells Minato that each Seikari needs a master to emerge through a kiss, while most Seikari search for a master they like. The problem is that any master can force a Seikari to awaken her power. Some assholes use this fact to force unwilling Seikari to awaken and increase their strength. Seo hates those guys, and that is why he wants to help Minato get together with Ku, who seems to have chosen him as her master. At the same time, Ku is deep inside the forest when she senses someone coming. She goes to see if it is Minato, but it turns out to be Yomi, who has come to kidnap her. Yomi keeps pulling Ku along, and Minato instinctively realizes she is in danger, so he runs to protect her. Yomi gets pissed that Ku is not listening to her, so she is about to punish her, when suddenly Minato arrives there and tightly grabs her. Yomi tells the pervert to watch where he is touching, but he uses the excuse of saving Ku to ignore everything. They keep on struggling, and then the Thunder Twins Pikachu them. While the twins engage in banter with Yomi, Minato finds Ku, who collapses in his arms. Immediately after that, Yomi comes there to take her, and since Minato is not going to let that happen, she attacks him. Luckily, Musubi arrives there just then and stops her scythe with her bare hands. She snaps its blade with no problem, and Yomi freaks out. Musubi ignores her tantrums and returns Minato's cell phone to her, when suddenly, Yomi attacks her with a wind slash and tosses her away. She keeps attacking her, but Musubi counterattacks using her agility and strength. Yomi is the better of the two, and she manages to rip off Musubi's clothes. But then she uses the lessons Mia taught her earlier to outplay Yomi. Musubi reaches behind her, tears her shirt, and then uses a spell on her Seikari tattoo to make it vanish, turning her into an ordinary human. With that, she goes back to Minato, and they decide to take Ku home with them. Outside, Hamura and the ice girl are at a stalemate when her master senses that he has lost connection with Yomi, so he decides to retreat from the fight. Back at Mia's place, Minato brings Ku along and introduces her as his relative. After that, he learns that Ku heard his cry for help when he was falling, so she asked this tree to save him. Minato thanks her, and then Ku suddenly asks him to become her master. Before Minato can even react, Ku kisses him and lands him a place on the FBI wanted list, while simultaneously making flowers bloom all over the courtyard. At this point, neither Minato nor Musubi are unaware of a stalker hidden in the house. The nerd watches their every move from her secret room, and she is certain that Minato is a dull loser. But seeing that he has already bagged 2 Seikari, she begins to get more curious about him. The next day, as Minato is about to leave for his part-time job, he sees on the news that the patch of forest where he found Ku has been completely killed by the MBI company. He thinks he should check up on Ku and finds her crying because she is the next Greta Thunberg and claims that the trees were her friends. On top of that, the person who killed the trees was her mentor named Shin, who had the powers opposite of her. Shin was the one who helped her keep her powers under check, and Ku fears that she will go out of control without him. But Minato tells her that he will help her. After that, he heads to his job, where he learns that Seo quit without any explanation. Minato is a bit depressed because of that, as he wanted to ask many things from Seo. However, when he returns home at night, to his shock, Seo is chilling there. Minato is perplexed, and Mia tells him that Seo was her late husband's best friend. So even though he is a shameless freeloader who comes here only when he needs free food, he is always welcome here. Seo is unbothered by this backhanded insult, and he tells Minato that he was just waiting for him. Minato asks how he knew where to find him, and he replies that when he shared his lunch with him the other day, he recognized Mia's taste, so he came here. Just then, Ku comes there, and she is afraid of the stranger. Seo doesn't care and orders her to come and thank him because he saved her life. As the girl becomes even more nervous, Mia suddenly throws a rock at Seo's head and tells him to behave. Just then, his Thunder Twins come there to apologize for their master's shamelessness, and as soon as they see him coming out with bags of rice and flour, they trash him. Minato interrupts them to thank Seo, who hands him his card, which says that he can handle any sort of problem. He tells Minato that he will give him a nice discount since they are friends, and then leaves. Later that night, as Ku goes to the toilet, She spots someone staring creepily at her. She turns around to see a woman with round glasses, and thinking that she is a ghost, she runs straight to Minato's room. The next morning, Minato tells everyone how Ku claims to have seen a ghost last night. The girl is still scared, and she tells everyone that it was a woman with long hair and glasses, and Yuzume seems to know something about it. But she doesn't say anything out of Mia's fear, who insists that there is no ghost or demon in her house. Later, Mia goes to visit her husband's grave, and Musubi volunteers to cook lunch for everyone. Before that, Yuzume takes her and Ku to her room, and suddenly, Minato feels someone rush through the house behind his back. Anyway, he goes to Yuzume's room to find that she has dressed Musubi for some maid roleplay and stuffed Ku in a penguin costume. Minato doesn't understand the purpose of that, but Musubi cooks lunch with Ku's help, and everyone eats till they are full. On the other hand, the Seikairi named Shin is looking around for Ku. While Minato's sister Yukari is also on the way to his new apartment, they absent-mindedly collide with each other, and Yukari is instantly smitten by Shin, who looks like the K-pop twinks she adores. Just then, another Seikairi belonging to the same trash bag who tried to kidnap Ku earlier comes there looking for Shin. Shin refuses to go to a scumbag like him, and the Seikairi pulls out a whip to attack him. However, the love-struck Yukari stands up for Shin, telling the blonde that she won't let a pretty boy be harmed in front of her. She grabs Shin's hand and runs away, and Shin begins feeling like Yukari is the one for her. They keep running away from the pursuer, and eventually, Yukari ends up bringing Shin to her room. Back in the house, Musubi is done with cleaning, and she returns to Minato, who is studying for college. He is curious about the stuff she did to Yomi last night, and why MBI helicopters came there as soon as Yomi was defeated. Musubi gets serious as she tells him that when a Seikairi loses her mark, she can no longer remain by her master's side, and MBI comes to collect her away. Minato is shocked to hear that and asks Musubi if she loses. Will he also never see her again? She affirms, and Minato's heart sinks. He falls to the ground, thinking that, like the president of MBI said, it is all a game, and everything will end once someone gets a game over. Suddenly, Musubi pounces on him, saying that it is not a game because her feelings for him are real. She tells Minato that she wants to stay with him forever, so she will never lose. She reveals that in this game, the Seikairi who remains unbeaten till the end will get to live with their master forever, and she plans to become that person. Minato is happy about that, and then Mia returns, so Musubi leaves to greet her. Neither of them are aware that someone has been watching them all this time. The stalker is excited because she saw Minato and Musubi get close, and now she feels her Seikairi mark burning as well, so she declares Musubi as her enemy because she wants to become Minato's Seikairi in her place. Later, as Musubi goes grocery shopping, she suddenly feels something approaching her from behind and barely dodges a laser shot from a satellite. The laser keeps following her and destroys everything as it tries to get Musubi. The satellite actually belongs to MBI, and the stalker has hijacked it to deal with her. She thinks that the satellite can keep Musubi busy for a while, and in that time, she goes to the bathroom to make a move on Minato. The flustered Minato asks her who the hell is she, and the stalker introduces herself as Matsu, a 19-year-old Seikairi. She knows everything about Minato, from how he failed his college exam twice to the last thing he searched for in incognito mode. She tells him that even though he is a wimpy loser, she has chosen him as her master, and now he must cool the fire in her body with his DNA. At the same time, Musubi also returns from her shopping trip. Mia is worried to see her clothes ragged, and she tells her that something fell from the sky, so she got late. She sees that she forgot something and rushes outside, but Mia stops her, telling her that no one leaves her house looking like a She tells her to go and take a bath, and Musubi enters the bathroom to find Minato cornered against the wall by Matsu. Matsu is not pleased that Musubi returned earlier than she predicted, but she was ready for this situation too. She pulls out a net gun and restrains Musubi before turning to Minato. However, before she can make any move on him, she feels Mia's sharp blade against her shoulder, who tells her that anything related to baby making is illegal in her house. After that, they go to the living room, where Matsu properly introduces herself as a resident of this house. She lives right next to Minato and Musubi, with her room being hidden behind a secret door. Matsu says that she caused a bit of a mess when she left MBI, so now there are people after her, and she has to live in hiding. Mia explains further, saying that her husband used to work in the MBI too, and he knew Matsu from there. Since he was a guy who couldn't say no, he let her stay in secret. Mia tells Matsu that she crossed the limit this time and starts thinking about her punishment. But Matsu begs her to give her one last chance and then goes into her dark and cramped hole. On the other hand, Yukari is wondering what to do with Shin, who is in her room. Suddenly, Shin says that he is her Sekiri and asks her to help her emerge as his true self with a kiss. In another part of the city, the blonde on hunt for Shin meets with the ice bitch and complains that she couldn't capture an unemerged Sekiri. Just then, Hamura comes there and tells her that a Sekiri is naturally drawn to its master, and people like them who try to capture them by force will always fail. The blonde tells Hamura that they will capture him first and ties him with a rope while her partner freezes him. However, Hamura uses his fire magic to burn the rope and melt the ice, forcing both the bitches to retreat. In doing that, he uses too much power, and because he has not emerged yet, his body can't handle it. He goes to a quiet spot where his cell phone burns down because of the power overload. He thinks that he is going to die at this rate, when suddenly, a torrent of water cools him down. He looks ahead to find the water Sekiri Tsuki in front of him, who thinks Hamura is just a tomboy, and considers him as her rival. She refuses to let her be defeated by anything else, and tells him to get better. Hamura tells her to find a master soon so that she can use her full power. But Tsuki is immediately disgusted by the thought of kissing a man because she thinks all men are uncivilized monkeys. She asks Hamura to get a master instead, but he replies that he is a defective male Sekiri, so no one will take him in. He tells her to get a master if she wants to beat him, and even though Tsuki acts disgusted just by the thought, she has recently been feeling a burning sensation all over her body, which means that she is near her master. That is why she wants to find that man and kill him before he can lay his dirty hands on her. On the other hand, Minato is laying sleepless in his bed when suddenly Matsu crawls into his bedroom and kisses him, awakening her power. Just then, Miya comes there to scold Matsu and cancels her breakfast tomorrow. Despite that, Matsu shamelessly has breakfast with everyone, while Miya is busy feeding Kagari, who has suffered suspicious burns all over his body. Later, Musubi trains with Miya, while Minato dozes off in the middle of his study session. He has a dream about Tsuki telling him that she has finally found him, and now he is going to die. Minato wakes up with a jolt and wonders what that dream was. It felt like the time he had a dream about Ku, so he decided to inquire more about it and the Sekiri plan, and the best person to ask is Matsu. Matsu tells him that the Sekiri plan is a game to release 108 Sekiri into the city and let them fight till only one remains. The game master is the crazy president of MBI, and right now, the entire capital is under his control. Matsu says that till now, the game was about finding the unemerged Sekiri and awakening their power. But now that most of them have emerged, Phase 2 begins, which is a battle royale between the Sekiri. Minato asks her if there is any way a loser like him can help in the fight because he doesn't want his girls to disappear. Matsu just holds his hand as she promises to win this fight for him at all costs, when suddenly Minato recalls the woman he saw in his dreams. Matsu begins researching the blonde woman with a scary face and tells Minato that the more Sekiri a master has, the stronger he becomes, and the stronger Sekiri reacts to him. Suddenly, she finds the result for her search, and when Minato confirms that it was Tsuki whom he saw in the dream, Matsu says that it is the worst thing that can happen. Tsuki, the Sekiri number 9, is one of the more powerful ones, and she is famous for her hatred towards men. Matsu says that her pride must have been hurt when she reacted to Minato as her master, and that makes her a threat to them. Minato is afraid now, but just then, Musubi comes there and tells him that he will be fine. Minato decides to search for Tsuki and make her join their team, so Matsu comes up with a plan. She is going to use the MBI satellites to look for Tsuki, while Musubi covers the area beyond the satellites. As for Minato, he will serve as bait because Tsuki must be able to sense him, so she will certainly come to kill him. Minato is dejected to hear this, but Ku is happy because she gets the role of his bodyguard. They walk through the streets where a cat jumps on Minato. Ku quickly manipulates the small plant in her hands and catches the cat before it can reach him. Just then, he sees Seo on the top of the building where the cat jumped from and learns that he had taken up the job to find the lost cat. Nearby, Tsuki is cursing Minato when suddenly, the Thunder Twins arrive to fight her. Tsuki thinks they are here to take her as a tribute to their master, but they tell her that they just want to remove as many unemerged Sekiri they can before the battle royale starts. Tsuki accepts their challenge, and the twins shoot her with thunder. However, she easily blocks their attack and then sends them flying with a hydro cannon. Back on the ground, Seo can tell that Minato has added another Sekiri to his roster, and it is Matsu. Minato asks how he knows about Matsu, and Seo replies that he was the one who created the hidden door on Miya's husband's request. Just then, the Thunder Twins arrive there, warning Seo that someone dangerous is after them. They are too late, because Tsuki jumps after them right away and lands on top of Minato. As a result of suddenly getting close to him, she starts feeling a weird sensation all over her body and realizes that he is supposed to be her master. She tells him that she will never let it happen and begins unleashing her power to kill him. She attacks him, and Minato can only run while asking her to give him a chance to talk. When Tsuki doesn't stop, Ku steps in to protect Minato and uses her power to make the plant grow rapidly. Minato stops her and says that he must try to get Tsuki on their side by himself, so they should not fight. Tsuki, on the other hand, realizes that Ku is also Minato's Seikairi, and she immediately calls him a PDF file as she swears to eradicate him from the face of the earth. She hits him with a water cannon and then tells him to say whatever he wants to in 15 seconds or less. Minato says that he wants her to be his Seikairi and lend him her power, which makes Tsuki even more angry. She unleashes her full power to kill him, but misses because her heart has started to act up. She falls to her knees, unable to suppress the changes in her body. She tries to escape using her power, but the Thunder Twins decide to interrupt. Tsuki says that they lost to her once, but they reply that they will show her the true power of an emerged Seikairi now. They kiss Seo one by one and activate their full power, using which they release a destructive thunderbolt towards Tsuki. However, Minato rushes to save his future Seikairi from the attack and manages to get her out of harm's way. At the same time, Matsu gets worried about the energy levels around Minato, so she sends Musubi his location and tells her to back him up. On the other hand, Tsuki can't understand why Minato would risk his life to save her, and then the twins begin to gear up for another attack. She attacks them first this time, but they dodge and let Seo get hit by her attack. This enrages Seo, and he climbs down to Tsuki's location and pins her against the tree. She can't feel any strength in her body to free herself from his grip, and he tells her that his ability is a bit special. He tells Tsuki that she has to pay for hurting his girls and says that maybe he should kiss her and turn her into his servant. Tsuki is completely rattled by this, and she instinctively starts thinking that if she is going to be taken by a man, it should be Minato. Just then, Minato also works up the courage to ask Seo to leave his Seikairi go, because if he does anything to her, it will be a violation of the Universal Bra Code. Seo agrees and leaves Tsuki, right before the Thunder Twins Pikachu the crap out of him for making a move on another Seikairi. Meanwhile, Tsuki goes down to Minato and tells him to take responsibility for calling her his Seikairi. Her heart suddenly feels calm in front of him, and she decides to accept him as her master because he is a man of character. She says she accepts his marriage proposal and kisses him, awakening her powers. Tsuki is all bashful after kissing Minato, and declares that she is his wife, leaving him no choice but to accept this relationship if he wants her in his team. Tsuki says she is ready to tolerate Ku since she is just a kid. But then Musubi also comes there, making her insecure. She angrily asks Minato how many Seikairi does he have, and on learning that she is the fourth, she immediately hits him with the waterworks. Anyway, they reach Mia's house, where Tsuki introduces herself as Minato's wife. Musubi and Ku get jealous on hearing this, and they cling to Minato, saying they are his wives too. Musubi and Tsuki get into a heated debate, and they are about to fight when Mia smacks them and tells them no fighting in her house. They obey her, and then finally, Mia reveals that she knows that they are all Minato's Seikairi. Everyone is shocked, but Mia reminds them her husband used to work for MBI, so she knows everything. After that, Tsuki looks at Kagari, and she feels that she has seen him before but doesn't know where. Kagari is a bit disappointed that the woman who claims to be his rival when he goes out as Hamura can't recognize him without the mask. He starts walking away, but Matsu notices something off about his behavior, so she follows him and tells him to find a master for himself because his body won't last long otherwise. Kagari replies that no one will choose a defective piece like him, so it is better for him to remain alone. Later, everyone sits down for dinner, and Tsuki is shocked to learn that Matsu is also Minato's Seikairi. Just then, Yuzum enters the dining hall, and Tsuki is ready to throw hands if she turns out to be Minato's Seikairi as well, but she informs her that her master is somewhere else. On the other hand, Minato's sister Yukari is in a sweet dilemma. She has let Shin stay overnight after hearing what he had to say. He had tried to kiss her earlier, but Yukari chickened out of that. She then asked him what he meant, and Shina told her that he was her Seikairi and explained about the Seikairi plan. He told her that they needed to kiss to make a contract, and he was ready to do more if she wanted. The perverted Yukari immediately thought of living her wildest fantasies, but then decided to think about it some more. Meanwhile, in the center of the city, the crazy president of MBI is standing on the roof of his building, laughing because now almost all the Sikairi have emerged, and it is time for his game to enter stage 2. His assistant tells him that he is crazy, and he gladly accepts that accusation, saying that he is ready to become a madman or a fool to ensure the game is a success. He says that it was his destiny ever since he touched the corpse of the god and became the game master, and his assistant thinks back about the time the two of them went to an island that should not have existed under the laws of physics. It was the plan of the crazy president, who was hailed as a genius by everyone. The assistant was not happy about him dragging her here, but he ignored her like all the girls in his class ignored him and went on ahead. He soon found a spaceship crashed on the island and ventured inside to find a girl in a pod who was later called Sekairi No. 1. Back to the present, Minato wakes up surrounded by his girls, and then Mia barges into the room with a knife because she is not going to let anyone get any action under her roof. She decides to divide rooms, allotting everyone different rooms so that no one can sleep with Minato. Even though no one is happy about it, they cannot dare to defy the demon landlady. Later, Mia goes out shopping and leaves the girls in charge of watering the garden. While Musubi and Ku are playing around, the bird brain Musubi accidentally drenches a guest who had come to see her specifically. Musubi is happy to see Karasuba, who is her respected senior, and invites her in. She learns that Kara has also emerged as a Sekairi and found a master. Kara has heard that Musubi defeated the sickle girl, and she reminds her of a promise they once made. Meanwhile, Minato brings tea for the guest when Matsu asks him to come to her room. She asks him if they have any guests, and just then, Musubi and Kara come out of her room. Matsu panics and immediately hides inside her room on seeing Kara, and even Tsuki doesn't have a good feeling about her. Kagari too is on guard against her because he knows that Sekairi No. 4 Kara is the hound of the MBI. After she is out of sight, Minato goes to ask Matsu to come out, and she is freaking out, saying that she is going to be killed. Minato asks her what she means, but then something blares on her screen, and she immediately opens the door and tells him to watch the news. On the news, the president of MBI declares that they have seized control of the city, and the game that will bring about the new age of gods will start here now. He tells the citizens that they are free to live here or leave, but they must get a full body check before leaving. Matsu panics on hearing this and shows everyone that their city is surrounded by a river on all sides, and MBI is guarding all exits to make sure no Sekairi leaves and the game proceeds as usual. Outside, Kara runs into Mia, and it seems both of them have intense hatred for each other. Mia warns Kara that if she steps into her house the next time, she won't leave alive, and Kara is up for the challenge because she doesn't want to miss a chance to fight against Sekairi No. 1. However, she leaves peacefully for today because she forgot her sword in the car. On the way, her car passes by the two bitches who were targeting Shin earlier, so she decides to have some fun with them. She challenges them to a fight, and the ice girl tells the blonde to run because they are facing someone really dangerous. However, the blonde is too dumb to listen to her words of wisdom and charges at Kara, only to be knocked out with just one hit. The ice bitch decides to ditch her and runs away because she doesn't want to die just yet. Back in Mia's house, Minato and Musubi are left alone as everyone gets busy with other things. Using this chance, Musubi tells Minato about the promise she and Kara made in the past. Kara used to believe that humans are useless species, and Musubi believed otherwise. So Kara suggested that they remain the last two survivors in the Sekairi games, and then they will fight to prove who is right. Musubi tells Minato that she must keep this promise at all costs, and she is going to win and prove that humans are not useless. She tells him how happy she is to be in this world, surrounded by people she loves, and swears that she is going to keep them safe. Minato smiles at her, saying that he trusts her, and they will win the game together.